If you take a look at your stone chumash, please. Not everybody has one, but if you look on page 789 and the stone chumash, you have it in front of you. Numbers 11, verse 4. Page 789 in the stone chumash. Can you double up? Yeah, that's the stone chumash of the art scroll. The art scroll stone chumash on page 789 in the blue. Art scroll stone chumash, page 789. Numbers 11, verse 4. The strange verse there, Rav Avram. Would you like to read it slowly? 11:4, page 789, stone blue art scroll chumash.
Oh, this applies to this.
What? 789, pasuk 4. No, pasuk 4. Pasuk 4, 11:4. The riffraff.
The rabble was among them, cultivated a craving.
Say what?
The rabble among them cultivated a craving.
A craving?
And the children of Israel also wept once more and said, "Who will feed us meat?"
A craving. Where's the beef? Golda, they said, where's the beef? Remember Clara Parker? They got everything from us. Where's the beef? And not only the beef, look at verse 5. What else are they complaining about? Verse 5.
We remember the fish that we ate in Egypt free of charge.
And?
The cucumbers.
The pickles. Where's Gus's pickles? Remember Gus's pickles on the Lower East Side? Benjamin, where's the pickles? You hear? After Mamid Har Sinai, after seeing all the great miracles, they're complaining about the pastrami and there's no pickles. What's with these people? Hello?
I think Pasuk 6 could be stretched to mean they also complain about the lack of beer.
Lack of beer. Why? Verse 6.
Life is parched.
We're all parched.
Life is parched. And you know you got to wash that.
Where's the Valentine?
Yeah, right.
What's with these people? Masha, they're just coming out of Har Sinai, Matan Torah, all the great miracles. But it wasn't the Jews. It started with the rabble. It started with the Erev Rav. But that's what the Torah says. The Erev Rav are the ones that incited the Jewish people. The Jewish people are a good people, but Nebuch, we have outside influences. That's the tzara. Today we call them what? Commercials, right? Outside forces, whether it's the Erev Rav or whether it's the immorality of the West and the decadent culture, it's an outside force. Nothing has changed in 3,329 years. We're a good people, but Nebuch, we are influenced and vulnerable to the local rabble, whatever it is, the New York Times or the Peace Now or Breaking the Silence. Nebuch, we'll talk about that later. But this is the story that keeps repeating itself. Why don't we tune out all of these immoral, decadent forces of so-called Western liberalism, or any ism, Avi, isms, secularism, New Ageism, Erev Rav-ism? When will we ever learn? But let's get to the Haftorah. It's just amazing how the Haftorah speaks to current events. I think it's 1182 in the blue book. It's from the book of Zechariah. It's just amazing how, Avi, the current events, fasten your seatbelts. Zechariah chapter 2. In the blue books, I think it's 1182. If you don't have it, you can listen. Rani v'simchi. What does that mean, Rani v'simchi? Bastion. Who is the daughter of Zion? Sarah, we are the daughter of Zion. Rejoice and be glad, says the prophet. Now, the Parsha is full of complaints. Judaism teaches, don't complain, be happy. Don't complain, be happy. Rani v'simchi bastion. Why? V'shechanti b'tochech, because God says, I am dwelling amongst you. What are you worried about pickles and salami for? V'shechanti b'tochech. The Shechina is dwelling in our midst. The Shekhinah dwells inside of us. So you're worried about pastrami and pickles? See how the Haftorah compliments Rav Nochem, the Parshat. A Jew has to be happy and be singing. Ivdos Hashem b'simcha. Right? Stop complaining. Hakol l'tova. Now many people, Sarah, misinterpret Hakol l'tova. There's a bumper sticker in Israel, Ten chiyuch Hakol l'tova. How do you say that in English? Ten chiyuch. Give a smile. Hakol l'tova. So everything is what?
Good.
I'm glad you said that. That's not the translation.
What did she say?
She said, give a smile, everything is good. Now, anyone who knows Hebrew, Sarah, knows that if the way you translate it would be Ten chiyuv Hakol Tov. It doesn't say that, Sarah, my dear Sarah.
Where are you looking?
I'm looking in my head. Please look in my head. It's not here. It's not there. It's not there. Just Rodi v'simchi. Why should a Jew be happy and rejoice? That's what the prophet is saying. Because Hakol l'tova. So many people say Hakol l'tova because everything is good. But anyone who knows Hebrew, Benjamin, knows that Hakol, if everything is good, you would say Hakol Tov. And we don't say that. We don't say Gamzu Tov, Avraham. What do we say? Gamzu Letova. You know Hebrew better than me, Avraham. There's a big difference. Avi knows Hebrew better than me. You don't say Hakol Tov, Gamzu Tov, because many things are not good. Tragedy and illness is, how could it be good? Hak and death, but we say Hakol Letova. If you just heard this today, it would just Hakol Letova. Everything will be for the good. Now it's not good now, because a lot of things are not good. But Judaism says not Hakol Tov. If Hebrew is such an exact language of them, Ulpan 103. We say Gamzu Letova, Hakol Letova. Even though now it's not good, but after 120 years, looking back from the perspective of eternity, we'll see how even the tragedy somehow was for the good. Now we can't see it because we're trapped in our bodysuits. That's when we close our eyes and say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Echad. We don't see it. We believe it. So we say, Hakol L'Tovah. Not everything is good. A lot of things are not good. But it will be. After we leave this world and looking back from the perspective of eternity, when we're no longer trapped in our bodysuit, we will see that Gamzu L'Tovah. Stay tuned. Let's not be in a hurry to get there. Let's not be in a hurry to get there. Plenty of time. But Hakol L'Tovah. I mean, pay to come to hear this. Huh? Many people translate, this too is good. It's not good. Because you don't say Gamzu Tova. Rav Nochem didn't say Gamzu Tova. What did he say? Gamzu Letova. The world of difference. Therefore, Hebrew is such an exact language, Yehuda. This too will also be for the good, even though it ain't good now. Tragedy and death and suffering. But looking back from the perspective of eternity, we will see that Gamzu Letova. But let's continue with this Haftorah, ripped from today's headlines. Pasuk Tezayin. Zechariah 2:16. I think it's 1182 in that book. It can double up. V'nochal Hashem et Yehuda chelko. God will give, what's the word nachal? Mitnachlim. Oh, settlers. Ooh. God is a settler, Abraham. God is a settler. But that's what it says here. I'm not making this up. V'nochal Hashem et Yehuda chelko. God will settle Yehuda, his portion. God is a settler. Al Admas HaKodesh, Ubachar Od B'Yerushalayim. And God will once again choose what? And this Haftorah is always read around Yom Yerushalayim. God will once again choose Yerushalayim. You see that? Verse 17, fasten your seatbelts for this one. Verse 17. You know who's visiting us? Nikki Haley. What a tzaddikis. What a tzaddikis. She told the UN to shut up. Where is she coming from? Verse 17. I couldn't make this up. Verse 17. Has kol basar b'pnei Hashem. God tells the UN, all flesh, shut your mouth. Stop picking on Israel. So the week that we read this Haftorah, who's here? Nikki Haley, acting as God's agent, quoting Zechariah 2:17 without even knowing it, when she told the UN, shut your mouth. Stop condemning and picking on Israel. Little did she know that 2,400 years ago, Avi, Zechariah would be saying it in the very week that what? That she's here. Shoshana, Coinky Dinky? It's just unbelievable. I'm excited. Zechariah 2, verse 17. Has kol basar. Nikki Haley is acting as God's agent. Shut up, UN. Has kol basar. Stop picking on Israel. If she doesn't even know that she's God's agent. So how come she had to come this week, not last week or next week? Because this is the week that we read Zechariah 2:17. She had to deliver this message, the Parshat of the week, the Haftorah. Zechariah. Zechariah. What does Zechariah mean? God remembers. So 2,400 years ago, the prophet made a statement which is repeated by the ambassador of the United States to the UN, and that's exactly what she says to the UN. Has, keep silent. Stop your wagging tongues against the holy Jewish state. She is God's agent, delivering the message. In the very week we read this Haftorah, Zechariah 2, verse 17. That's pretty incredible, don't you think? I think it is incredible. Now, if you move on in the Haftorah, he mentions the name of the Mashiach. In verse 8, Kihini mevi et avdi tzemach. God says, I'm going to bring my servant Tzemach. Why is the Messiah called Tzemach? What does Tzemach mean, Avraham? Sprouting, a plant. Why is Mashiach called Tzemach? We say it 3 times a day. Es Tzemach David Avdecha Mehera Tatzmiach. I won't give up my day job. We daven 3 times a day. Et Tzemach David Avdecha Mehera Tatzmiach. Bring your servant David quickly. And the Mashiach is called Tzemach. Based on this pasuk, Zechariah 2, verse 8, the end of the pasuk. Kihini mevi et avdi tzemach. How do they translate that? The end of the verse. Zechariah 2:8. Behold, I bring my servant Tzemach. Don't they say that? No, in English? Zechariah.
Not canon, right? It starts at 14. The flourishing one.
They say the flourishing one, okay? But the word Tzemach means Mashiach will come like what? Like a seed growing. It comes step by step. It's an ongoing process, Nechama. Mashiach is called Tzemach because it happens gradually, like a plant that sprouts and blooms and blossoms. It's a gradual process. And we're in the process now. That's pretty incredible, don't you think? I think it is. Now, if you look at the end of the Haftorah, verse 6, the end of the Torah, verse 6. Vayan vayomer alai lema zeh devar Hashem lo b'chayil v'lo b'koach gim beruchi om Hashem tzavaot. The end of the Haftorah, verse 6. God says, not by a powerful army and not by might, but with my spirit, says the Lord God of hosts. Says Radak, what's God talking about? Not by might. We don't need the IDF. The end of the Haftorah, it's verse 6. Not by might and not by a powerful army, but with my spirit, says the Lord of the universe. What is God talking? We don't need the IDF. Says Radak in the year 1200. This verse is speaking about the third temple. The third temple will be built not by a powerful IDF and not by a powerful army, but with God's Spirit. That the third temple will not be forced on anybody. There will be no riots, no intifada. Ki'im baruchi, because even the UN will acknowledge the Spirit of God, and they won't resist the third temple. What a powerful prophecy. They won't resist, they won't riot, no intifada, because Ki'im baruchi, the entire universe, even Abu Mamzer, if he's still alive, and the UN will see God's Spirit. There will be no need to go to war to build the third temple. What a powerful prophecy. Pretty interesting, huh? Now, let's get back to where's the beef. Let's get back to that. And where's the pickles? You know, the Parsha begins with another complaint. The people complain that they can't bring the Korban Pesach. In Bamidbar 9, Pasuk 6, the people complain. God says, bring the Korban Pesach. And certain people complain to Moses that they can't bring the Korban Pesach, Yehuda, because they're Tamei Nefesh. You're Tamei, you're Potter. So the Parsha is all about complaints. Here the people complain, why should we be shut out? By Midbar 9, Pasuk 6 and 7. We also want to participate in the Korban Pesach.
It's a good complaint.
Beautiful, Sarah. There's complaints and there's complaints. The Torah is making a comparison and contrast. When you complain about spirituality, Rachmiel, that's a good complaint. When you complain about a better hamburger, not so good. There's complaints and there's complaints, Avraham. The Mishnah says, Eizir Ashir Sameach Bechelko. Who is called rich? Someone that's happy with his lot. I know enough. I don't have to study this Masechta. I'm happy with my lot. I don't have to study this Shulchan Aruch. I don't have to go to this Daf Yomi. That's a person. Sameach Bechelko is if you're happy with your physical lot in life. You're happy with your physical possessions. A dumb phone is also good. I don't need a smartphone. I have a dumb phone personally, really dumb. Still connected to the wall. That's right? A sameach bechelko, to be happy with your lot in life, it's in gashmiut avi. But in ruchnius, to be happy with your lot in life, So these people complain. That's good complaint. We don't want to be shut out. We want to participate in the Korban Pesach. That's a good complaint. But we want better pickles or a better hamburger. Not so good. Okay? So it depends what you complain about in life. There's complaints and there's complaints. What a powerful message the Torah is teaching us. So these guys were exempt because they were carrying the body of Joseph HaTzadik, so they can't do the Korban Pesach. So what do they want? You're Potter, guys. You're an Einus. They said, we don't want to be Potter. We don't want to be cut out. Just because we did the mitzvah of carrying Joseph's bones, we don't want to be deprived of another mitzvah. We don't want to be exempt. That's a good type of complaint. So God gives them Pesach Sheni. He gives them Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni means a Jew always gets a second chance. Isn't that amazing? Wow. So how come these guys are not mentioned? They're anonymous. They're carrying Joseph's bones. So why are they anonymous? Where are their names? Where are their names? Why aren't they mentioned by name? They have a whole parsha in the Torah because of these guys, Pesach Sheni, and yet they're anonymous. Why, Sarah? To answer this question, we have to what? If you look in the book of Kings, remember the Shunammite woman who was very kind to Elisha? She built him an attic. I hope she got a permit, Yehuda. She built him an attic. And she furnished it with a table and chairs and a couch and a bed and a nice menorah. Hope she got a building permit. So the Navi is so grateful to her. He says to her, Ayesh le'dabalach el hamelech. Can I speak to you for the king? Says the Zohar, that day was Rosh Hashanah. And Elisha Navi says, Hayesh le'dabalach el hamelech. You know, I'm close with the King of Kings. Can I put in a good word for you? Give me your name, Shunammite Bas, and I'll put in a good word with you with the King of Kings. It's Rosh Hashanah, the Yom Adin. I'm in like Flynn with the big boss, the Navi. You know what she says to him? No, thank you. Shalom. She says, no, thank you. She says, V'toyma Shunamit, b'toch ami anochi yoshevet. B'toch ami anochi yoshevet. What an answer. Don't single me out, Shunamit Bas Rivka. I'm part of Klal Yisrael. You want to daven? Daven for all of us. Don't single me out. I'm part of the Klal. What an answer. Isha chachama. B'toch ami anochi yoshevet. I'm part of the Jewish people. I don't want no special treatment. These great people, or a Shunammite lady learned from these great people. I don't need my name in lights. I'm part of Klal Yisrael. That's good enough for me. What an answer. Malachim Perik Dalit. Malachim Bet Perik Dalit. Hayesh dabalach el hamelech. V'toyme Shunammite b'toich ami anochi yoshevet. No, thank you. What an answer. So anyway, you get the Parsha of Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni, says Lubavitch Rebbe Zatzal, is this Baal Tshuva. A Jew always gets a second chance to do tshuva. You failed, Lish Gefelech is a Pesach Sheni. So Lubavitch Rebbe says something incredible. If you just came to hear this, you know. Pesach Rishon is how many days? 7. Pesach Sheni, Avram Chik-chak. Makara, makara. Why one day? Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You're sitting down. The Gemara in Brachos tells us, and the Rambam Paskins Halacha, B'mokem sheba'al tshuva omed, sadik gomel yochel amod. The Baal Tshuva stands higher than a goody two-shoes. So Pesach Rishon, that represents the Tzadik Gomer. So he needs 7 days of Pesach. The Pesach Sheni symbolizes what? The Baal Tshuva. Baal Tshuva, it's enough one day.
You only need 7 days.
You don't need 7 days.
You need 7 days to bring a shalom. Why can't you bring 7
1 minute.
days?
Yes, a person can acquire his eternity, not in 1 hour. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe says the Pesach Sheni represents the Baal Tshuva. So, b'mokem sheba'al tshuva omed, a tzadik gomel yochel amoid. So therefore, for him, it's enough what? 1 day, because a Baal Tshuva stands higher than a goody two-shoes. I mean, a tzadik gomer. For him, it's enough yom. Baal Tshuva. For him, it's enough 1 day. The mile of what? Of a Baal Tshuva, that a Jew always gets a second chance, and a third chance, and a fourth chance. God cannot give up on any Jew. So we always get the second. And that is the message of what? Of the Pesach Sheni. Now, then the Torah goes on and gives us the parsha of the Chatzotzrot, Bamidbar 10, Pasuk 9. When do you blow trumpets? V'shas ha-malchama u'b'yoyim simchaschem. Very strange. The very same trumpets in Bamidbar 10, Pasuk 9 and 10, in the day of tragedy on Malchama, you're supposed to blow the trumpets. And when else you're supposed to blow the trumpets? B'yom simchatchem, on all your days of festivals and joy. The Rambam makes it one mitzvah. And the same trumpets. Isn't that bizarre? The same trumpets are blown on days of tragedy and war, and they're also blown on days of joy and festivals. The same trumpets, the same notes, and one mitzvah. Isn't that bizarre? No, it's not bizarre.
We cry out the joy and sadness and the same tears too.
Beautiful. The Holocaust and the Jewish state, just 3 years apart. That's life. Milchama, Holocaust, and right in the next pasuk of Yom Simchatchem Yadechem, your days of joys and festivals. That's what? The Jewish state. So life is, yes, Milchama, Tsar, and Simcha. That's the way life is. Riding high in April, shot down in May, or the other way around. Right? Holocaust, the Jewish state in 48, just 3 years apart. Moshe, prince of Egypt, becomes a fugitive, hunted, and then he rises to become the redeemer and lawgiver of Israel. From prince of Egypt to fugitive, to the lawgiver and redeemer. And Yehuda Lev made a very great point. He said, how does a person express great sorrow? By tears. How does a person express great joy?
Tears.
Tears. Now, if you put the tear of joy and the tear of sorrow under the microscope, Masha, it's the same tear. Now, God is usually so generous and benevolent in giving us emotions. How come over here he was economical? Why did we express great joy and great sorrow the exact same way? Couldn't God figure out a different way? Same idea. Whether it's tears of joy or chas v'shalom tears of sorrow, it's the same source. It's all Him. Just amazing. So you express sorrow and joy the exact same way. The same trumpets are blown, milcham and tsar, b'yom simchatchem, because whatever happens in life, it's all Him. It's all God. One source. Pretty amazing. So, what a powerful message. Great joy and great sorrow expressed the identical way to acknowledge, to recognize that it's what? It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hakol litova. It's not good now. Sorrow and malcham are not good now, but litova. Eventually we'll see how it's all for the good. But now we can't see it. So we close our eyes and we say Shema Yisrael. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. It's all good. But I can't see it, so I close my eyes. But Bayoim Ahu, Zechariah 14 says, Bayoim Ahu, I won't have to close my eyes. Yi Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. So we read Zechariah today. This Shabbos we're going to read Zechariah speaking about current events. This is Zechariah 2. But if you look at Zechariah 14, he says a day will come when Jerusalem will be divided. You hear what he says? Not in our Haftorah, but in Zechariah 14, a day will come, Jerusalem will be divided, and Jews will only be living in one half of the city. Hello, Avi, Zechariah 14, you don't have it in here. But you look in Zechariah 14, I peeked ahead, it's not in the Haftorah. He says, right before Mashiach comes, a day will come when Yerushalayim will be divided, and Jews will live in only part of the city, until a great battle, when Hashem will reunite the city. What's he talking about? Gee, what's he talking about? I live in Pisgat Zev, and next to the Shuafat and Bet Hanina, I wouldn't dare step in there. Isn't the city divided? I can't go there. So Zechariah 24 years ago said it's going to be like that. Bainish, right before Mashiach, and then it'll be a great battle, and Hashem will unite the city. But then he goes on to make a very strange statement. He says, V'gam Yehuda telachem b'Yerushalayim. V'gam Yehuda, and also the Jews will fight us on Jerusalem. Now, when the prophet said that, take a pill and lie down. V'gam Yehuda tolachem b'Yerushalayim, he says. The city will be divided. We won't be able to live in half of the city until Hashem will reunite the city. And then he says, V'gam Yehuda tolachem b'Yerushalayim. Also, the Jewish people, Abraham, will fight us against Jerusalem. What does he mean? Now, when he said there's no one who was talking about, you know what he means? He means J Street. He means breaking the silence. He means Jews for Palestine. Don't they, and Meretz, don't they fight us? I told you, in Yom Yerushalayim, there was a conference. I wanted to throw up. There was a conference in the American Colony Hotel. Meretz and the Peace Now and the Palestinian Authority had a conference. How to get rid of the occupying force. Who's the occupying force? We're occupying our own capital. Hello? Meretz and Peace Now with the PLO executive. A conference. How to get rid of Yehuda of the occupying force. We're occupying our own capital. This is the Jews are fighting us on Jerusalem. Now Zechariah said this 24 years ago, and he said that's going to happen, Avi, right before the Messiah comes. Pretty amazing. All of the signs are there. You just have to open up your eyes and see what's happening. Wow. And he also says in chapter 8, which you don't have here, that the streets of Jerusalem be filled with children playing and laughing, and old people will be filled the parks. Now when Zechariah said that, Sarah, the city was in ruins. When did he say this? The beginning of Bayesheni, the country was in ruins. They looked at him, take a pill and lie down. He says, the city will be teeming with playing, shouting, joyous, laughing children. And old people on their canes will fill the streets of Jerusalem. What was he talking about? Now. It's now or never. But when he said this, Maddie, they thought he's off the wall. Chas v'sholom. The city was in ruins, it was desolate when he said it. But he's speaking today. All the signs are here. That's just pretty incredible. Now you have a strange parsha, Yisroi, Bamidbar 10, Pasuk 29, 30, 31. Yisroi begs his father-in-law, please don't leave us. Accompany us to Pisgat Zev. We need you. We need a Midianite tour guide. Banish. I don't get it. The Torah says, Al pi Hashem yisu, al pi Hashem yachnu. We traveled, follow that cloud. When the cloud went up, follow that cloud. And when the cloud rested, we rested. I need a Midianite tour guide. I need Tanto. You know the story with Tanto? Tanto was a scout, right? I'm dating myself. Tanto and the Long Ranger are riding in the desert. And all of a sudden, on top of a hill, they see 10,000 Indians. 10,000 Indians. So the Lone Ranger says to Tanto, his scout, Tanto, we're in big trouble. So Tanto says, what do you mean we, white man? What do you mean we in big trouble, white man? I mean, you can't trust your Midianite tour guide. Why is Moshe pleading with Jethro? You will be our eyes. I need a Midianite tour guide? We have the best guide in the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Amud Eish, Amud Anan. So Rashi puzzles about that. What do you mean will be our eyes? So Rashi says, we love you kegalgal einenu. You know, in Hebrew, if you want to say you love somebody, you say al anayim sheli. Who knows Hebrew here? Al anayim sheli, right? I love you like I love the apple of my eye. Says Rashi, Yiddish Nachama. We don't need you as a Midianite tour guide. But you're a Ger Tzedek. We love you like we love the apple of our eye. Buy one, get 36. If you love a Ger, you get 36 mitzvot. If you leave us, you will be depriving us of the 36 mitzvot, the most repeated mitzvah in the Torah. Buy one, get 36. Jews love bargains. Haftorah, we love you like the apple of our eye. You can't leave us and deprive us of 36. That's the bonanza of mitzvos. Jews love bargains. Buy one, get 36. Haftorah, says Rambam in the Chinuch. So that's what Moshe was pleading. Yisvai says, ich vornisht. How do you say that in English? Ich vornisht. Ich vornisht, he said. He says, I have to go back to Midian, bishvil nechasai, bishvil mishpachti. I can't leave my family in Borough Park, and I can't leave my stock portfolio. So I have to go back to Midian. Bishvil nechasai, bishvil mishpachti. I can't leave. I have family ties, and I also have a lot of real estate holdings in Midian, which I could be a good Jew in Midian too. Was ist so gefährlich? Can I be a good Jew in Teaneck? In Lakewood? Was ist so gefährlich? Please hear me well, if you just come to hear this. Yisro has a parsha in the Torah named after him. Not just any parsha, Shalom. The Ten Commandments. There's another great ger in Jewish history. Her name was Ruth. We name our children Ruth, but we never ever name our children Yisro. Isn't that bizarre? He has a parsha in the Torah named after him. Parsha Ten Commandments. A great ger tzedek, and we never name our kids Jethro. But the name Ruti is very common. Why? Chanoch, tell me. Two great gerim in Jewish history, and we only name our children after one, and Jethro is not named, no kid is named Jethro. Time for Din Din.
Because she's here and he's
Beautiful. Says Nechama as follows. The Mishnah tells us, Eze chacham haroet anolad. Mishnah Novot, Reb Nochem tells us, who is called a chacham? Someone that can foresee the consequences of his actions. Eze chacham haroet anolad. Someone that can see, what does a nolad mean? What will give birth for my action, for my behavior? What can come out of it? Why does Parshas of the Meraglim follow exactly this Parsha? When the two Parshas next door in the Torah, Benjamin, great connection. Why does the Parsha of the spies follow on this Parsha? Yisro was a great man. A Parsha of the Ten Commandments named after him, not Parsha Moshe Rabbeinu. And he could refuse to make Aliyah. He said you could be frum in Shmutz La'aretz. Who was watching him? The Meraglim were watching him. This great tzaddik, Ger Tzedek, a Torah, Parsha of the Torah named after him, he said you could be frum in Chutz La'aretz. So it's not so important to go to Israel. He didn't see the Royat HaNolad. He didn't, people are watching you. He didn't foresee the consequences of his actions. The very next Parsha, the Meraglim, who was watching him? Avi, the spies. That put a bee in their bonnet. You could be from in Borough Park too. We don't need Israel. So therefore, there's no kid named Yisro Avraham Berkowitz, because he was not a chacham. He didn't see the nolad. He didn't foresee the negative consequences, the disastrous consequences of his actions. The very next parsha, the Meraglim. And therefore, Ruth is a common name. As Nechama said, Ruth said, you can't be a good Jew in Shmutz La'aretz. Ruth says, I have to come to Eretz Yisrael. I'm not going to. Naomi said, go back. You can be a good Jew in Moab. Open up a Chabad house in Las Vegas. But what did Ruth say? No. Ruth said no. Therefore, we name our kids Ruti and Ruth, and we don't name our kids Yisrael. That's pretty incredible. What a message. Now Moshe Rabbeinu pleads with him. Geholfen toite bankis. How do you say that? Didn't help. Okay. Look what he says in chapter 10, verse 29. Bamidbar 10:29. Moshe says to Chova ben, Yisrael had 7 names. Chova ben Ruel. We are traveling to the place which Hashem says will give us. Come with us. Ve'itavnu. What does Ve'itavnu mean? It'll be good for you. Ki Hashem diber toiv al Yisrael. Because God has spoken what? Good about Israel. Good. Anachamu good. What's the message? When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, Benjamin, what should you see? Good. Only the good. Isn't that incredible? Torah is not history. I need to say what Moshe said to Jethro 3,329 years ago. Torah is GPS. When it comes to El HaMokayim, Hashomer Hashem, HaMokayim, which place? Heitavnu lach, Diber Toiv. When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, you should only speak good. When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, you should have an ayin tovah. There's so much good here. Why are you looking for the shlechts? Why are you looking for the shlechts for? When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, Ki Hashem diber toiv al Yisrael. When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, God seeks and looks only for the good. But many people know they look dafke for the shlechts. Instead of appreciating the glass being what? Half full, they focus on the glass being half empty. But some people say, don't confuse me with the facts. My mind is made up. Now again he says, he doesn't give up. Some people just don't get the message. So verse 29 says, God speaks good about Israel, be good for you. In verse 32, he doesn't give up. In verse 32, what does he say? Bamidbar 10:32. V'hoyo kitelech imanu, v'hoyo atov ahu, asher yetiv Hashem imanu v'yitavnu lach. How do you translate that in English?
And it should be that if you come with us, with the goodness with which Hashem will benefit us, we will do good to you.
So when it comes to Israel, Nachamul, Hatov, and again, Yetiv, and Nachamul, Tavnu lach, in case some people don't get the message, Sarah. When it comes to Eretz Yisrael, you're supposed to only see the Toiv. In Nachamul Toiv. Focus on the Toiv that's here. Why are you looking for the Ra? But some people just don't get it. Okay. Now, then you have a strange parsha in the Torah with upside down nuns. Very strange parsha in Bamidbar 10, Pasuk 35 and 36. Vahi ben Sayaron, Vayomem Moshe, Kumo Hashem yifutzu oivecha. I won't give up my day job. When the ark traveled, Moshe said, get up, Hashem, and let your enemies run away from you. So Rashi says, who are God's enemies? Does God have enemies? So Rashi says, Elu Sonei Yisrael. Anyone that hates Israel is called a hater of God. Shekol Asaydet Yisrael. Anyone who hates the Jewish people, anyone that hates the Jewish state, is called a hater of God. Wow. What a Rashi. What a Rashi. Anyone that hates Am Yisrael or Eretz Yisrael is called a hater of God. That's God's enemies. So why are there upside down nuns there? Isn't that bizarre? You have upside down nuns in the Torah. So Rashi said this parsha doesn't belong here. The upside down nuns are like brackets. The parsha doesn't belong here. This belongs back when the camp traveled. Why stick it in over here in the middle? They traveled 3-day journey in 1 day. And they began to complain. So Rashi said, this parsha doesn't belong here It's stuck in here because it's too shameful to write 3 sins in a row. The Jews committed one sin, where's the beef, where's the pickles, and they ran away from the mountain of Hashem and they began to complain. So it's too painful to write 3 sins in a row, so to interrupt the losing streak, we want to bring another Parsha. So we bring the Parsha of what? Of the traveling ark. Why Nun? Nun is gematria what? 50. Sister Chachamim says that this Parsha belongs 50 psukim back. 50 psukim back where you have the camps traveled, the ark traveled. One ark traveled in the middle of the camp, and one ark, there were 2 arks, right? The broken tablets traveled in front, and the whole tablets, 2 arks in the middle. So this Parsha of the traveling ark belongs Nun psukim back, where it speaks about the wagon train, when the camp traveled. One ark traveled in front, one in the middle. So it belongs 50 psukim back. What's gematria 50? Nun. So therefore it's put over here to symbolize it really belongs 50 psukim back. So why stick it in here? To interrupt the losing streak. Now, there are many parshas Chanoch in the Torah. You want to interrupt the losing streak. What about the parsha of tzitzis, tefillin, kashrut, taras hamishpacha? It's too shameful to write 3 sins in a row. Where the pickles, remember Gus's pickles, where the beef, this is no good, that's no good. So you want to interrupt it with a parsha. So put a parsha of tefillin, put a parsha of shatnez. Why the parsha of the traveling ark? Please fasten your seatbelts. We know the Torah is not a history book. The ark Shoshana will never travel again. When Mashiach comes, it'll be uncovered from the Temple Mount, somewhere in the catacombs. It'll never travel again. Chanoch. The Torah is not history. The Torah is what? GPS. So why are we learning about a traveling ark? Why should I care? Fasten your seatbelts. Look at the word Aron. What's the root? Or. Why is the ark called Aron? It contains the light of Torah. Vahi ben Aron. It's not ancient history, Rabbi Yaakov Goldman. It's not ancient history. When you're traveling on the long and winding road that we call life, there are many pitfalls. On the long and winding road of life, what's the GPS to life? Keep your eye on the prize. What's the prize? The light of Torah. Avram, not ancient history. But even so, when you're traveling on the highway of life, ha'aron, keep your eyes on the light of Torah. Otherwise, Nebuch, you fall where? By the wayside. That's the message. The Or HaTorah. That's our guide, our GPS to life. Otherwise, where do you wind up, Nebuch? I don't want to say where, but what? Stay focused. Keep your eye on the prize. What a powerful message in life. What a powerful message. So, God's GPS, the light of Torah, right? To navigate the long and twisting, winding road, life is full of hazards and mazes. So, Maddie, we got to focus on the light of Torah, the Aron of the Torah. No Torah education? Then what do you have, Nebuch? Spaced out on drugs or dropouts, Nebuch. Unfortunately, right? Focus on life. Now, the Parsha, Miriam speaks against her brother. We'll speak about that on Sunday. Miriam spoke Lashon Hara against her brother, and she became a leper. But Aaron also spoke. Does God play favorites, Chanoch? I'm a text man, Chanoch. I'm a text man. It says in Bamidbar 12, please look in. If you ain't got a book, it's important to look in. Double up. Bamidbar 12, Abraham. Bamidbar 12 says that God became angry. Bamidbar 12, verse 9. Bamidbar 12, verse 9, Yehuda. Who did God become angry?
The wrath of Hashem was played up against them.
Against them. Who's them? Miriam and Aaron. Miriam and Aaron. They both slandered the brother. And yet, in verse 10, Abraham, in verse 10, Bamidbar 12:10,
God had departed from the tent, and behold, Miriam was afflicted with Caesarea.
Sarat.
Smell like snow.
So wait a minute. God was angry. Sarah mixed up. Bamidbar 12, verse 9, the Chama says, God was angry at both of them. Yichaf Hashem bum. What does bum mean? In them. Because they both slandered Moses. So how come only Miriam became a leper? Shoshana, is that fair? How come only Miriam became a leper? Hello? Masha, is that fair? What does the English say there? Huh? Any English? So, Rabbi Abraham, you know that if you read the written Torah, you're getting less than half the story. The Torah says put on tefillin. What's supposed to be in the tefillin? What? The Torah says do shchita. The Torah says on Sukkot take a pre-Eitz Hadar. What's a pre-Eitz Hadar? Maybe an avocado. I don't know, maybe an orange. If you don't have the oral Torah, you're getting less than half. The written Torah says Miriam became a leper. But beautiful. Talmud Shabbos, page 97 says there seems to be an extra verse in the Torah. See how the oral and the written Torah work? In the written Torah, God plants an extra word. It ain't extra. It's for the oral Torah to what? Squeeze it. There's an extra word there, so if you read carefully by Bamidbar 12:10, the Anan lifted up from the tent of meeting. Miriam became a leper like snow. What does it say, the next word? Aaron turned. What do you mean Aaron turned? Why should I care? 3,329 years ago, Aaron turned to Miriam and what? What do you mean he turned? Why should I care, Masha? Says the Talmud Shabbos Tzadik Zayin. Aaron also turned into a leper. Otherwise, the word turned is, what's the word? Superfluous. What do you mean he turned? What do you mean he turned? He saw his sister was a leper. Thank you. He turned, says the Talmud Yishalmi, Shepana B'tzarato. He also turned into a leper. It's not in the written Torah. You're putting on tefillin every morning. How many parshas? What's in the tefillin? Who says they're black? Maybe they're pink. Who said? A lot of things are not written in the Torah. It says shecht an animal. What do you mean shecht an animal? Where do you shecht them? Maybe you shecht them from, I don't know, from behind. How do you shecht from the front? The written Torah, you're getting less than half the picture.
Rabbi,
What?
Rashi says that only Miriam was
No, that's why I'm glad you're here today. You see, if you look in Tractate Shabbos, Daf Tzadik Zayin, the Talmud says Aaron, Panam B'tzarato, he also became a leper. Rashi cannot argue with the Talmud, Beinish. But many people don't know that. Tractate Shabbos, page 97. Otherwise, the word Vayifan, he turned, Avram Berkowitz, is superfluous. What do you mean he turned? He also turned into a leper. But he got cured immediately.
Why?
Because he was a nuchschlepper. How do you say that in English? A nuchschlepper. Because she was the instigator. He never, she was the instigator. And she was the one that incited him, so she remained a leper. He got cured instantaneously.
It was just his hand, right?
What? I don't know if just his hand. He also became a leper.
He pulled his hand in and pulled it.
That's Holy Moses. Rabbi Abraham. All three siblings became lepers. Rabbi Abraham, be proud of him. He made a tremendous... Who are the three greatest leaders the Jewish people ever had? Please give me a little time. Please give me a little time. Please. The three greatest leaders the Jewish people ever had. Nechama, who are they? Golda, Nechama. If you take a look at the Haftorah in Parshat Balak, this is from the book of Micha. I'll read it to you. I don't want to waste time. Micha, the prophet Micha, Perikei. Ki helisicho me'eretz Mitzrayim. I brought you up from the land of Egypt. And I redeemed you from the house of slaves. And I sent to be your leaders at Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. God is an equal opportunity employer. Micha, chapter 5. The Goyim say Micah. Micha, chapter 5, God says, I took you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of slaves, and I appointed to lead you Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. God would not tell Miriam to sit in the back of the bus. No. In God's eyes, Moshe and Aaron and Miriam are three co-captains. Three co-captains, Micha, chapter 5. So the three greatest leaders the Jewish people ever had are whom?
Moses, Aaron, and Miriam.
And all three became lepers. Now, is that a contradiction?
No.
Reb Chanoch, the three greatest leaders the Jewish people ever had, Moshe became a leper. Remember? You don't remember? By the burning bush? He said the Jewish people ain't going to listen. Forget about it. So his hand became a leper. So Rashi said he slandered the Jewish people. What do you mean they won't listen? My children will listen. You spoke Lashon Hara, lemonade against the Jewish people. Remember Exodus 4? His hand became a leper. So Miriam became Moses, and Talmud Shabbos that Aaron. So all three greatest leaders become lepers. Is there a lesson in there?
Yeah.
What's the lesson?
No one's perfect.
No one's perfect. And the greater you are, the greater HaKadosh Baruch Hu holds you. Remember that Hebrew National commercial? We answer to a higher authority. What a commercial. We answer to a higher authority. Remember that?
It was great.
The greater you are, we answer to a higher authority. So because they were so holy and great, when they did an Aveirah, God slams them. That's pretty amazing. So, is it good to complain in life? It depends. Not for a pickle or a juicier burger, but for more spirituality. I want more Torah. I want more shiurim. For that, it's good to be what? Complaining about. But for the pickles, a pickle of hin, a pickle of hair, not such a big difference, right? Sunday at 2 o'clock, we have a shiur. When is Lashon Hara a mitzvah? When is Lashon Hara a mitzvah? That's Sunday at 2 at the OU. Be there or be Shabbos afternoon. Have a good Shabbos. Thank you.